Hi everybody, welcome to the dive brief. In today's video I'm going to be looking at fins, because fins are a bit of an artwork and a lot of research and development goes into a good pair of fins, but they come in so many different designs. How are you supposed to know what you're looking at? So I'm going to break down a few interesting kind of tweaks and features that you can always look for on a good pair of fins. First up, we're looking at the Cressy Frog Plus fins. Now, for most of this pair of fins, they look fairly generic, a standard pair of fins, until you get to the very tip of the blade of the fin, the very sort of end section, and you see this huge kind of scoop pattern cut out of the very tip of the fin. Now, we call this a fishtail tip, and they've basically looked at a lot of marine animals, fish, and marine mammals, and they've noticed that this particular design, you see it more and more in fishtail designs and evolutions, and it actually helps to reduce tracking. So if you imagine swooping your hand or your foot through some water, a lot of the time you can feel a kind of a shaking effect. Now we call this tracking, where to be able to get your foot or your fin or your hand through the water, it kind of shimmies from side to side, and of course when you're finning through the water you don't want that because it's just going to shake your ankle, whereas this fishtail tip actually helps to reduce that tracking effect, and it means that you have a smoother movement through the water. Similar in design with that fishtail tip, we have the Aqualung Storm fins. These just have a slightly more modern take on that fishtail tip, but actually for this pair of fins I'm looking at the complete other end, and this is a pair of snorkeling fins, and snorkeling fins are traditionally full foot fins where you want something fairly light that you can just wear barefoot. But the Aqualung Storm fins, you can wear them barefoot, but they have a bungee heel strap. Now if you're looking for a pair of fins, then I think anybody on the internet would highly recommend that you get bungee heel straps for them. Whether they are a true bungee elastic cord or you go for a more metal spring action, it makes your life so much easier when you're getting in and out of the water and taking your fins on and off, because instead of having a one-way ratchet style strap that you have to unclip and then readjust every time, with these adjustable bungees, you just get them to the right length, and then with a single finger you just pull them onto the back of your heel. Another added benefit is as you go down, if you are wearing a pair of neoprene boots with your elastic fins, then they're going to automatically hold onto the back of your heel as your wetsuit boot starts to compress. So a lot of divers, when they get to their maximum depth, their wetsuit boot is just that little bit smaller because of the compression, the pressure around you, and they need to readjust their fin straps, otherwise they just fall off, whereas an elastic bungee heel strap is always going to be holding onto your foot. Now, if you're looking at a pair of fins like the Aqualung Phaser fins that have multiple coloured materials on them, then this is often what we call a channel style fin. So what this has, it has multiple types of materials that have different stiffnesses, basically. So in this case, you'll have the white section, which is relatively stiff. You then have the black section, which is actually quite soft. And then down each side, you have the coloured section. And that just means that each section of the fin can change its shape during each part of the fin kick. So with the black section being much softer, it can create a kind of a scoop effect with the blade of the fin to be able to scoop the water and then channel it all down towards the tip of the fin. The white section maintains the shape and the rigidity of the fin to be able to transfer energy from your foot, but helping it out is that coloured section down the side, which actually stores up elastic energy and then springs it back, so they're actually quite effective in the water. Another popular style of fins are what we call vented. So vented fins are typically quite short, but you'll notice that they actually have holes in them right in front of where your toes go inside of the foot pocket. So right in front of the foot pocket is actually a real dead zone for fins. It actually creates a lot of drag in the water that just uses up a lot of energy but doesn't give you very much propulsion. So what they found out is if you actually create a vent vent, just a hole in the fins right in front of the foot pocket, it actually reduces a lot of drag and increases the efficiency of the fins. So a lot of vented fins have this section here to improve their efficiency, but they're also a lot shorter compared to a lot of other things. So they are very efficient at very confined spaces. So if you're swimming in wrecks and around a lot of other people, you've got a few extra inches so that you're not bumping and kicking into stuff. They also are typically made out of one single piece of material, so they do tend to be almost bulletproof. And finally, we have to talk about split fins. So split fins, they come in and out of popularity every few years or so, but in a sense, they are a pair of fins and they just have a cut all the way down the middle. So this seems like a poor design, but actually, again, much like the fishtail tips at the beginning, these are actually looking at nature and improving our efficiency thanks to their evolved designs. So again, they looked at marine mammals for this and they found that two separate sections next to one another with a rigid rib on the outside actually create a vortex of the water as you move through the water. So these are very, very efficient, and if you have weak knees or weak ankles and the act of finning takes up quite a lot of energy, whereas with split fins, it takes up much less energy. So they are very chilled out and relaxed fins. As you're sort of kicking through the water, you do shift through the water. The only downside comes is that you can only do a traditional scissor kick. You can't do anything too fancy like frog kicks, but they do actually take up a lot less energy from your legs. So yeah, if you do suffer with weak legs in general, then it might be worth looking at some pair of split fins. So fins, they come in so many different styles and designs and have all these little features out there. But let us know down in the comments below what style of fins you're looking at. Personally, I dive with vented fins. You can see them just behind me. I just like how compact they are, but they still have the power of a normal pair of fins. But there's so many more details going into fins, but let us know which ones you use down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and of course, safe diving.